I'm Rob Port from SayAnythingBlog.com, North Dakota's most popular political blog. Jennifer Milotti started a shuttle service here in North Dakota. She came up to North Dakota from Missouri to take advantage of the economic activity in North Dakota's Bakken oil boom. The main part of her business is shuttling people from city to city. Obviously, there's a big need for that in North Dakota, with a lot of the workers coming from out of state, moving people around the state to the different areas. And she's an entrepreneur who came up here to provide that service. Another service that she's tried to provide, because she's based out of Williston, is as a service where people could call, almost like a taxi service, where people could call. She'll show up and take you home from the bar, take you home to from the restaurant, wherever you need to go. It was a service she was providing free of charge for tips only if the customer cared to leave a tip. Unfortunately, the city of Williston says that Jennifer can't do that anymore. Jennifer, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Tell us what happened initially when the city first got in touch with you about the services you were providing within Williston.
Actually, it was a phone call from the city auditor letting us know that myself and Carol Paul, who owns Timberwolf Shuttle Service, letting us know that we could not be giving these rides, that we were acting as a taxi cab service. I informed them that we weren't charging, therefore we weren't acting as a taxi cab service. We were just giving free rides. We are registered through the state, and we are insured.
And you have a commercial driver's license, so this is a service that you're providing, and you had, and it should be noted that you're continuing to provide your shuttle service, for which you have you've told me you have all the applicable necessary registrations and things like that. And it should be noted that your friend Carol is somebody who also came up from me from Missouri, and you both set up a service with your own vehicles to provide these services. So after the city auditor said you did need to register as a taxi service, what did you do after that?
We applied for the licenses, which were $15 a piece. And then it wasn't put on the first agenda because we had applied apparently the night before the city council meeting. And then what happened? And then we had to wait these last 2 weeks, and nobody asked us. We turned in our paperwork, showing that we had insurance, showing that we had the inspection done. We also had to pay for an inspection, which is what the city requires. We jumped through all the hoops. But honestly, the reason that we didn't apply initially was solely because we did hear from several people that the city did not intend to and had not ever given city cab licenses to others who had applied.
To other cab companies that had applied to be licensed in the city to operate a cab service.
Correct.
Okay, so you did apply. You got the inspection, you paid the fee, you applied. It went to the city council actually last night, and at that point, what did the city council rule on your application?
Almost in a New York second, they weren't even going to open discussion, but I jumped up and said I had something to say. They had already decided amongst themselves that they were upset with us, and they had reason not to give it to us. They had already ticketed my friend, who was pulled over without having anybody in her vehicle, and ticketed for the ticket they gave her that they had direct orders from their chief of police to do. This officer said, I was there, I witnessed him saying it. He said he had direct orders to give her a ticket, and she was ticketed for operating a taxi without a license in the city. And for that, she goes to court in a couple of weeks. Last night, one of the council members stated that she and I had made a mockery of their intelligence and of their process, and that they didn't think that we deserved or that we should have a taxi license. And they all passed it along. They all agreed, I, to deny us.
And the only and the only reason given was that you hadn't previously asked for a license. There was no that you didn't have the appropriate insurance, you didn't have the appropriate inspection, your vehicle didn't meet appropriate standards, you didn't have the right training. It was none of that. It was just that you hadn't applied for a license immediately. Therefore, they weren't going to give you one at all.
Correct.
And the entire cost of this license is $15 plus an inspection?
$15 plus the inspection, yes.
What are your plans from here? Obviously, I would imagine you're going to continue to offer your shuttle service, but what about the services you were offering in Williston?
Well, we are seeking an attorney. We are seeking a good attorney who is willing to go against the city of Williston that isn't in their pocket for as corrupt as they are. We really need an attorney that's willing to fight for our side. And it's not just for us, it's for anybody that comes behind us that wants to operate in Williston. How can you arbitrarily decide that somebody can't have a license based on, well, we're mad at you? Besides that, in their city ordinances, it does state that the city council gets to decide based on necessity whether or not there's another, there's a need for another cab service in town, blah, blah, blah.
Speaking, I was going to say, speaking to the need for another cab service in town, how many cab services are operating in Williston?
There is one cab service in the city of Williston. One. They have 4 cabs, maybe 5. But at any given time, there are only 2 operating, sometimes 1. And with that, there are 40,000 people at any given time in this city running around. Most people, a lot of people don't have vehicles because they flew up here, took a train, rode a bus. There are lots of reasons why people need a ride. Some people are handicapped. Some people just got here. They don't have money. Some people are out partying and shouldn't be out driving drunk. Things like that. There are a lot of those things going on here.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to help. Either they're trying to build a community or not.
Yeah.
I think it would be betterment of the community.
I think the frustration is certainly justified. Jennifer, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me.